Hello everyone. Today's poem is 锦瑟 by Li Shangyin. This poem could be the most famous poem in the Tang poetry, only for the poetry lovers and poets. So for the normal people, for the most popular Tang poems, this is among the top list. But if you're talking with one who loves poems, Tang poems, or even he or she write poems, this one could be the top one poem in his mind. This poem shows the most elegant, sophisticated writing skills and wordings among the whole Tang poetry, and with extraordinary mysterious, and the meaning is so hard to decipher through the long history in the Chinese history after Li Shangyin, roughly 1,300 years. We still don't have a conclusion for this poem, what he's trying to talk about, what's the meaning for the whole poems. Yet, with my own opinion, the greatness, the beautiful, the sophistications of this poem is partly because of the talent of Li Shangyin himself, and partly because of he's standing on so many giants' shoulders of the great Tang poets, and even the ancestors 1,000 years before him. So all the classic Chinese literatures and his own talent make this great, mysterious, beautiful poem. The poem lovers and poets after Li Shangyin, they all have their opinions to this poem, what the meaning, what Li Shangyin tried to talk about. So there's so many explanations, deciphers to this poem, and the main category will be in two aspects. One is he uses poem to express his memory, his love to one of the girl, or maybe his wife. The other main category of explanation to this poem is he's writing about himself, his lifetime stories. So in my own opinion, I would rather take this as the lifelong stories of Li Shangyin. He's writing a conclusion to his lifelong time story. So as usual, for this extremely sophisticated, complicated, beautiful poem, I would explain the meaning of the word, and then let's try to dig out what really Li Shangyin tried to talk about. 锦瑟，李商隐。锦瑟无端五十弦，一弦一柱思华年。庄生晓梦迷蝴蝶，望帝春心托杜鹃。沧海月明珠有泪，蓝田日暖玉生烟。此情可待成追忆，只是当时已惘然。锦瑟， a classic Chinese instrument, musical instrument with 50 strings and 50 columns. It used to have 50 strings, but in the Tang dynasty it has 25 strings because there's a history record that 皇帝使庶女鼓瑟，哀不自胜. So this tells the very first king of Chinese, 皇帝, he asked a woman to play the music with this instrument, 瑟. And the music makes people so sad. And finally, the king decided to make this instrument 25 strings afterwards. So this tells this instrument could be used to express the very sadness things, very sadness music. Even it was 25 strings for the time being in the Tang dynasty. From the title 锦瑟, it looks like belong to the category of 咏物诗, the poem talking about an object and through that object to express his feelings. And anyhow, in fact, this poem is a poem untitled because this poem was so famous among the people after Li Shangyin. So whenever we try to refer this poem, untitled poem by Li Shangyin, we always call 锦瑟, and gradually most people recognize this poem, the title as 锦瑟. So you should know this is an untitled poem, as a lot of the famous poems by Li Shangyin as well. So the untitled title also shows the poet want to cover his profound feeling as well. So that's the characteristics of Li Shangyin. You can check some of the other videos by me on Li Shangyin's poem. So he has a very, very difficult life, difficult with his career path, difficult with his love, difficult with his life from his very young age till the end. So everything's so difficult, but from the poems we read today, we know this one, of course, definitely is a genius, is a talent among talents. He passed the so difficult imperial exam in his young age. That's another proof to his talent. Okay, let's get back to the poem. 锦瑟无端五十弦. 锦瑟, this very, very well decorated 瑟, the instrument. For no reason, it got 50 strings. 无端 means for no reason. 一弦一柱思华年. So every strings, every columns, it means, it resembles the thinkingness or the memories to the best years of the life. 华年, 华 actually in the classic Chinese is equivalent to 花, flowers. So 华年 normally refers to the use time. That's the just like the best time, and it's the best time for the plant as well. So every string, every column, it resembles the thinkings or the memories to the best years of the life. 庄生晓梦迷蝴蝶. 庄生晓梦 is a very famous story wrote by 庄子, the famous philosopher in the warrior stage period. So in that story, 庄生, the guy, he had a dream, and in his dream he became a butterfly flying around and with such happiness. Of course, he wake up sometimes later. So when he think about the dream, the butterflies, he has the wonder. Is that dream is the dream of himself, of his reality, or he just was a dream? His current life is a dream of that butterfly in his dream. So, which means that butterfly is the reality, and his current life is just the dream of that butterfly. So normally when Chinese talk about 庄生晓梦, we always refers the life is just like a dream. It's hard to tell which part is true, and it's so mysterious. So 人生如梦。望帝春心托杜鹃。望帝, a history figure, he was the king of the place of Sichuan province today. And there's a lot of saying about his stories, but basically he lost his kingdom with such a sorrow and sadness. When he died, his soul, his spirits, passed to a cuckoo bird. So in every spring, the cuckoo bird sing frequently, loudly, and very, very sadly. So we have also another saying, 杜鹃啼血. So the cuckoo bird is crying in the spring, and it spit the blood from his mouth. So with such a sadness. So that's the story about Wang Di, about this king. So 望帝春心托杜鹃, it means the king, he passed his spirits, his soul, when he died, to the cuckoo bird, and let the cuckoo bird sings every spring to express his sorrow, his sadness to everyone. So it's a very, very sadness. 沧海月明珠有泪. In the bright moon night, in the vast sea, the pearl has teardrops. So that's another old story. The old story says in the South Sea of China, there's a type of creature, half human, half fish, like mermaid. So when the mermaid cries, the teardrops, when it falls into the sea or fell to the ground, it became the pearl, the bright, beautiful pearl. So that's this sentence is about. In the bright moon night, in the vast seas, the mermaid crying, and the teardrops became the pearl. 蓝田日暖玉生烟. Lantian is a place, a county, southeast to the Chang'an city or Xi'an city today, roughly 40 kilometers away. It also famous for other terms, 武官, so you can check one of the Han Yu's poem. And also it's famous for Wang Chuan, the most famous villa built by Wang Wei. We have a video about that place, Lu Zhai. So it's a place crowded with so many things famous in the Tang dynasty. And most famous is for its jade. And Li He, a very famous poet, Li He also wrote a very famous poet about the jade of this place, Lantian. So here, when we read the sentence again, makes sense. 蓝田日暖 玉生烟. So in the place of 蓝田, the sun is so warm, feels so warm. The jade becomes a smoke. The pearl and jade means much significant for Chinese, especially the ancient Chinese. 珠圆玉润, the pearl is round. The jade is with smooth, with warmth, with the best qualities, the best in the best. So the Chinese always use the pearl and jade to resemble the spirits, the characters of a human, the best in the best, the essence, the select. So here, besides this best in best meaning, the pearl also refers to 圆满, because the pearl is round. So the round means something or someone has a very satisfying ending result. So in these two sentences, you can see the huge conflicts again. The pearl is the essence of the vast sea and the bright moon. It's the best of the best, and normally it has a good result because the shape of a pearl is round. In Chinese saying is 圆满. But this pearl is crying with teardrops, which means the ending is not good. It's not a satisfactory ending. For the jade, it not only means the best of the best, the essence of the mountain of the earth, it also resembles the eternity. It means eternity for Chinese. In the Han Dynasty, when the emperor died, they will wear a clothes made of jade, 金缕玉衣. The thread is made of the gold, so that was so called 金缕玉衣. And for normal people, they will put a lot of the small pieces, objects made of jade with the dead, which is a prayer, a wish for the dead that is eternal. So the conflict for the jade is this best of the best things, which should be eternal. With the warm sunlight, it turns into smoke. It's not eternal. So you can feel how sadness, what a sorrow the person trying to express. 此情可待成追忆. This feeling could become the memory to memorize in a later time. 此情, this feeling, so this is the focal point in this poem. It clearly tells this poem is writing about a feeling, a thinking. This feeling could be memorized by someone sometime later. 只是当时已惘然. Anyhow, in that time of that feeling, the person feels so disappointed already. So in the previous sentences, it describes such a best man with best quality. Even the experience, the feelings is so sad, with such a sadness, but still a great feeling, great memories. And the very last sentences, it appears so negative. It's nothing. Even in the best time, with those great quality, with the quality of the pearl, with the jade. It's nothing. That man, that woman in that time already feel disappointed. Okay, now we have gone through the meaning of every sentence. Now let's review this poem again to find out what exactly the poet Li Shangyin wants to express. The first pair sentences is 锦瑟无端五十弦，一弦一柱思华年. So it actually is very clear, straightforward. He used the instrument, the very magnificent, beautiful instrument, to resemble his life with bitterness, because this instrument, the music by this instrument, is with all of sadness, the huge sadness. And every string and column resemble the best years. So the poet, with a little brag of himself, every year of himself is the best years, is with the best quality. Basically, he died around 46 or 47, not 50 yet, but for the Chinese, when we born, the mother gives birth to the kid. We call the kid is 1 year old. When he passed the Spring Festival, the first Spring Festival, this boy was 2 years old. So very probably in the Chinese counting of the ages, when Li Shangyin write about this poem, he's around 48 or 49. So 50 years of life is not a brag. It's almost 50 when he write this poem. The second pair of sentences, 庄生晓梦迷蝴蝶，望帝春心托杜鹃. So the first sentence actually describes the status of his whole life. It's just like a dream. Even the poet himself don't know his life is a dream, or his dream is the life. Of course, he has a great dream. He's with a big ambitious. Anyhow, he never achieved his goal in his lifetime to contribute to the country, to have great love. But in normal sense, in that time, the person never take the love as his pursuit. So basically, we know he achieved nothing. So everything looks like a dream for him. His whole life is just like a dream for him. 望帝春心托杜鹃. So this is a forecast for his afterlife. So when he died, he was such a dream within him, but never achieved. So he died with sorrow and sadness. He would just like the ancient figure Wang Di to cry out loud. His dream never goes, but when he died, he just can like a cuckoo bird sing out loud and can do nothing. So this pair of sentence actually is the ramp up of his current life and afterlife. 沧海月明珠有泪， 蓝田日暖玉生烟. So this pair of sentences actually is writing more details of his life quality, the quality of his life, or of himself. He was the pearl, the best in the best, and he was the jade, the best in the best. And yet the pearl has teardrops, so it's such sadness. The jade should be eternal when he died, but as he take him as a jade, this jade of him would become a smoke, not eternal. So that's the utmost sadness. So his life story is the huge tragedy. Even the best of the best cannot keep its own characters. The jade should have a very good ending. He don't have a good ending. The pearl should have a very good ending, but he don't have a good ending. The jade should be eternal, but he would tend to be the smoke, which is not eternal. So at the very end, the last two sentences, 此情可待成追忆. So this is feeling at the moment when he write this poem. So he was with such a talent, with such a dream, with such a goals for the country, for himself. Anyhow, it's nothing, and it just can be a good, sweet, or sad memory for the later time, for the later people. But for himself, 只是当时已惘然, for himself, at the very moment in his lifetime, he already feel such a disappointment. Okay, this is just one of the so many type of explanation deciphers to this mysterious, complicated poems. And of course, you can have your own decipher and explanations. 诗无达姑. So my video is just to try to use the background of the history, the background of the poet, his lifetime long stories, and try to figure out the real meaning the poet Li Shangyin tried to express. It's a ramp up to his roughly 50 years life with this poem just before he died. Okay, that's for today. I wish you enjoy it, and bye bye.